for moving from survival into thriving. Because in order to thrive, we have to survive, right? So we're going to use a little bit of what's called the hunting power and go hunting. And we're going to go hunting for our deeper self. We're going to go stalking the devil's garden on a find out to our deeper self of who we truly are. This will be a find out here. So let's go out into the desert Southwest and into the Death Valley and into the Devil's Garden and see what we can find. For there we will find what may be our long lost self, our anima mundi. In the anima mundi, we will find our lost self, the lost souls, and maybe the lost souls of many, many souls. The picket wire, the purgatory of our own anima mundi. Las animas de perdidos. Las animas de perdidos. In preparation for Dia de la Muerte. In preparation for Dia de la Muerte, las animas de perdidos, the lost souls in the Death Valley, the garden, the Devil's Garden. Okay, and we're hunting. We're hunting the power now. We're power hunting for power. And there we will find, and we will reclaim, and we will retrieve, and do soul retrieval, and reclaim dispersed energy from all along the way of our life ways, of all the different seasonal wheels that we have turned round. And we'll do soul retrieval here, and we will do reclaiming of dispersed energy. This is called Gentle People of the Purple Sun. Out here on US 50 West, this is the loneliest road in America. Out here, we stop for frogs. Once in a while, every 6 hours or so, one crosses. And we always stop for desert tortoises. We're just a little north and just a little east of the land of little rain. This does bring a refrain when a Mariah wind comes up, or dust devils blow on up from Rickety Gulch, where the roadrunners play, and those quick lizzies, those yellow-green lizards flick, flit, and run down some lonely desert arroyo, where even the broken-down windmill has no name. Down some lonely desert arroyo, where the broken-down windmill has no name. It just eases and squeaks as it slowly rolls in the rafters. While the raptors are in full display, 18,000 feet high, spotting some promising prey 18 miles away. In this land of little rain, gentle people have migrated in from whatever chagrin and whatever down low chakra they've been kicked in. They've lived, and whatever chagrin they've lived in from back east, up north, or down south, or sometimes from the west, just a little bit from the west. These are the land of little rain people, exiled in the land of plenty. Now, this is pretty far west, tucked in from the land of the golden sun by a fortnight or two. a fortnight, because that's the time it takes to walk inland. That's the time it takes to walk inland to the Inland Empire from the Indian Sea, from the Indian ones, the stone people, from the sunny Southern California, say 100 miles or so, walking in to the east from southern sunny California, into the deep Salton Sea, and the depths of poverty out past the outback, and the depths of poverty out past the outback shack of Joshua Tree. The beginning misery is at the yucca plant. The beginning of misery is at the Yucca Flats. The beginning of misery is at Yucca Flats. Just past 29 Palms, the wealthy, the spas, the resorts, the golf courses, of the stench of the stinking, filthy rich, lay this sunset town in a ditch. No rich need apply. Here, the weather is hot and dry. It burns the bones off some men and turns those wrinkles into bronzed, etched character canyons. They carry as marks of distinction, as bronzed statues, concrete statues in motion. Into bronzed etched character canyons they carry as marks of distinction, outlining their curve, their comport. They comport themselves well, and the old wells of the Old West. They comport themselves well in the old wells of the Old West. And the real breadth and knowing of their lay of the land. These are the inner ley lines of their biopsychic fields, of their personal astrocartography, weighing and assaying the way of being in the West, in the land of little rain. As prospectors of the West, their grub stake is on their back and under their crotch, a backpack and a bike, and no one calls them friend as they speed whizzing by at 85 miles an hour down the nearest interstate. These ramblers, roustabouts, ne'er-do-wells, itinerant waifs, layabouts, these are the clearest sign of exodus from Babylon. These are the clearest sign of exodus from Babylon. These are Jesus people, tribes of individuals and nomads, migratory birds who heard a different color, migratory birds who heard and lived and danced and drummed to a different color. These are migratory birds, and they are Christ in the desert. They are Christ in the desert, whose bloodline goes all the way back to Jerusalem. They are dancing in the desert of their lives with a lifeline that is an ebb tide to another time. With a lifeline that is an ebb tide to another time. A life tide of survival and the saguaro of hope. They hold the center. They hold the center, even in the riptide of the idiot wind. Holy the firm, these are. Holy the firm, these are. Holy the firm. Aho. It's dedicated to people who live out in the desert, the land of little rain, the people who are nomads, who are outwardly called homeless and all of that, but they've chosen a home. they've chosen to live out in the desert, in the wild spaces, in the free spaces, in the free space of the wind, the Moriah wind, away from the idiot wind of the idiot grind of Babylon. So here's to the new Jerusalem ramblers. Here's to the new Jerusalem ramblers out in the desert of the land of little rain. And they're spreading the land of little rain in marvelous refrains upon the sonic architectures of the symphonies of the moonlight. And they're spreading them all across the land as the moon tide and the moonlight lifts the hearts of man. This is called the gentle people of the purple sun. First time it gets in our head, so we get fairly grounded and we're comfortable with where we're at in this bioregion of the land of little rain. East of LA, about 100 miles, out in the desert, near Death Valley and the Devil's Garden. We'll find the people of great heart, the people of the purple sun. Out here on US 50 West, this is the loneliest road in America. Out here we stop for frogs. Once in a while, every 6 hours or so, one crosses. And we always stop for desert tortoises. We're just a little north and just a little east of the land of little rain. This does bring a refrain. When a Moriah wind comes up, or dust devils blow on up from Rickety Gulch, when the roadrunners play out in the desert all day, and those quick lizzies, those yellow-green lizards, flick, flit, and run, zip, 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 zigzag, down some lonely desert arroyo where even the broken down windmill has no name. It just eases and squeaks as it slowly rolls in the rafters, and the rattles and hiss of the planet drum roll on. While the raptors are in full display, 18,000 feet high, spotting some promising prey 18 miles away. In this land of little rain, gentle people have migrated in from whatever chagrin they've lived in from back east, up north, or down south, or sometimes from the west. These are the land of little rain people, the people of the purple sun, exiled in the land of plenty. Now this is pretty far west, tucked in from the land of the golden sun by a fortnight or two. A fortnight because that's the time it takes to walk inland from the sunny Southern California beaches of the Golden Dream, broken. Say 100 miles or so, into the deep Salton Sea and the depths of poverty, out past the outback shack of Joshua Tree. The beginning misery is at the Yucca Flats. Don't go there. Don't do that. The beginning misery is at Yucca Flats. Don't do that. Just past 29 Palms, the wealthy, the spas, the resorts, the courses of Gulp of stench of the stinking filthy rich, out past the secret military flights at China Lake, and just south of the secret areas of Area 51 and Area 1 of the Department, Darkness on Earth, Department of Energy, nuclear test site, nuclear bomb factory, of the stench of the stinking filthy rich. This, and lay this sunset town down in a ditch. Lay this sunset town down in a ditch. No rich need apply. Here, the weather is hot and dry. It burns the bones off some men. It burns the hides off many a man. It burns the rump and the tail off the desert elk, the desert Rocky Mountain elk, and turns those wrinkles into bronzed etched character canyons, a mile wide and a mile deep. Bigger than the Grand Canyon, they carry as marks of distinction, outlining the curve of their comport. They comport themselves well in this land of little rain, and the real breadth and knowing of their lay of the land is in the marks of distinction as they comport themselves well in this land of little rain, in the devil's garden of the Death Valley days. And this is the real breadth and knowing of their lay of the land. These are their inner ley lines. Their inner ley lines, their telluric currents of their biopsychic fields, and of their personal astrocartography of their lay of the land. Their personal astrocartography is their lay of the land, weighing and assaying the way of their being, weighing and assaying the lay of the land and the way of their being. As prospectors of the West, they are both miner, prospector, soothsayer, and assayer. Their grub stake is on their back. Their grub stake is on their back and under their crotch, a backpack and a bike. And no one calls them friend as they speed by at 85 miles an hour down the nearest interstate, going north, going south, going west, going east. A linear sign of the cross on their lunar landscape. A linear sign of the cross upon their lunar landscape. And no one calls them friend as they speed by at 85 miles an hour down the nearest interstate. These ramblers and roustabouts and ne'er-do-wells and itinerant waifs and layabouts and petty thieves and whelps and so on. These ramblers and roustabouts and ne'er-do-wells are the clearest sign of the exodus from Babylon. They exited the exit from the interstate long ago. They left their cars and their spas and their boats and their motorhomes and their motorcycles and all that flabberty bobbity boopity bop beep beep stuff, flotsam and jetsam of Babylon behind, as they exited the interstate of Babylon and left it far behind in the idiot wind. And they are the clearest sign of exodus from Babylon as they exited the exit sign. Imagine that. They exited the exit sign. There's a clear sign. This is the clear sign of exodus from Babylon. For these are the Jesus people. The ones we've heard about, written about in folklore, myth, legend, and song. Here they are in real life, in real time. These are the Jesus people, the tribes of individuals and nomads. These are migratory birds who heard a different color and flocked to a different community, a different species in our midst. In the inland sea, just north of the Sea of Cortez, just near the Salton Sea. They are Christ in the desert. These are the migratory birds who herded and heard a different color and flocked to a different color. They're Christ in the desert, whose bloodline goes all the way back to Jerusalem. This is New Jerusalem in the Sonoran Desert. They're dancing in the desert of their lives. These are the prophets and the nomads with a lifeline that is ebb tide to another time. With a lifeline that is an ebb tide to another time. A life tide of survival and the saguaro of hope. A life tide of survival and the saguaro of hope. So this is a lifetime, this is a lifeline handed to you, dear friend, at this moment. Beyond, this is a lifetime of survival and the saguaro of hope. This is the saguaro of hope. This is the thriving beyond the surviving. This is the saguaro and the certainty of hope. And that is in the dancing in the desert of their lives in this land of little rain, with a lifeline that is an ebb tide to another time, a life tide of survival and the saguaro of hope. Just call it Joshua tree, dear friend. Something like 4,500 years old. The oldest living being on planet Earth is in this area, the land of little rain. And they hold the center, dear friend, even in the riptide of the idiot wind of the Babylon mind. They are singing, holy the firm, holy the firm, holy the firm, holy the affirmed, holy the reaffirmed, holy the reified to the holy other, God's honore, holy the holy other, holding the center of our own being in the New Jerusalem, in the land of little rain. Aho. Well, this is the journey of thriving, so that we become part of the land of little rain, that we begin again, the land of little rain. We begin again. And in this land of little rain, we revisit from time to time markers along the way, guideposts, markers, and we say, this is the time of winding in. And in the winding in time, we find empowerment. And we ask ourselves, is there something I've been wanting to pursue, a passion, a dream, yet my time and efforts have felt blocked? If the thing I long to do is something I feel drawn to fulfill, and I have the determination and the will and the strength to follow through, then I know a spirit within will help me find a way to succeed. The unlimited peace and power of God blesses me with spiritual abilities, love, faith, understanding, wisdom, and more. Because I am a divinely created being, I trust that the divine has provided me with all I need to flourish and thrive in the world. I fulfill my potential through the possibility that the divine has planted within me. These possibilities are limitless, and I embrace the divine potential within me. Laughter is the cosmic projection. Laughter is the cosmic projection. And in that, the Lord said, this is only the beginning of what they will do. Nothing that they propose to do will now be impossible for them. For this is Genesis for the exodus of Jah people. This is Genesis for the exodus from Babylon, for the land of little rain, the exodus of Jah people, the Jesus people. And in that, do what you love. Do what you love, involution. And that is what you love. And you speak of your visions to one another, and in the centering of going softly into your room, look at the golden eternity of be here now. Today is the golden eternity, a day to receive, a day to heal, a day to be well, a day to wash our spirit clean in the chalice well, a day when the door behind the curtain is ripped off from its moorings, blown clean off its hinges, shattered, blown to annihilation wind, a day when stupid sits on the stoop and kicks the stupid down the road, a day when the door is uprooted, plucked clean out of its anchorage, a day when the tidal flat sweeps the incoming sideways and into terra incognita, into new territory being birthed. Because the scales have fallen off our eyelids, dear friend. May the scales fall off all our eyelids. Or may the scales fall off all of our eyelids so we can begin to see the new beginning right in our heart and our mind. And may that new beginning be with all of you. As I say peace to you and happy Samhain, happy Halloween, happy Days of the Dead, and honoring those who have passed on in the golden eternity of now. Peace.